And we are live for the 13th episode of the Bronx Bomber Battle podcast. I'm your host, Matt Luz Luigi. It's me and Alex here today. We're doing a bit of an early recording because I literally could not record an episode after that 5-hour game yesterday.
Oh, it was painful.
It was painful. Episode's titled The Long Weekend because it was a damn long weekend. 35 innings of baseball, 3 games, not to mention a pretty not a terrible loss Thursday, but not a good loss on Thursday. And yeah, there's really not much to say between Stanton striking out 5 times in the same week, twice in the same week. Between all the barrage of injuries we had on Friday, Tyler Wade just looking nauseous, Gary leaving the game, CC leaving, just Brandon Drury seeing triple. I mean, it was just a bizarre, somewhat disastrous weekend. And even after all that, the Yankees are 5-5. So, reason for optimism heading to Boston tomorrow. But yeah, it was a brutal weekend. We're gonna review each of the 3 games from the weekend. It's actually funny. We recorded the Friday episode like right before the game on Friday, and I was saying, oh, it's nice recording a episode before the game. Now I'm going to watch the Yankee game, and if only we knew what was ahead. If only we knew. So, yeah, Alex, we're going to get into Fridays. We're going to start with Friday's game, go through Saturdays and Sundays really quick. But, yeah, Alex, how are you feeling after that weekend?
I'm emotionally drained, honestly. Like, Friday's game took so much out of me. And then I didn't get to watch probably about a quarter of Saturday's game. I listened to it on the radio pretty much, which it was nice listening to that because the Yankees ended up winning that one. It was 8-3. Yeah. And then sit down yesterday thinking, oh yeah, they can do this. They can split the series, and then started off scoring 5 runs in the first inning, looking good, and then everything just fell apart. So yeah, there have been better weekends in Yankees history.
Absolutely, have been better weekends. Yeah, let's start with the game Thursday, or excuse me, start with the game Friday. It was a low scoring kind of it was a low scoring game early on that Friday game, but it was pretty lucky to be because CC allowed 3 home runs. All were solo shots, 2 to Machado. I think Davis hit the other one.
Machado owns him though, so I don't really blame CC that much.
Yeah. It wasn't, he got taken out after 4 innings of work. And at first, I thought that he was just taken out of the game, which, to be honest, I know this might be an unpopular opinion, I wouldn't even have had much of a problem with, even if he wasn't hurt. I know he only had like 59, 60 pitches, but, when you give up 3 home runs through 4 innings, it's bringing him back out for a 5th and 6th innings. You're almost bound to give up another one, right? Especially if Machado's coming back.
I think
he probably could have because he was hurt. I didn't hate that.
Yeah. No, he probably could have lasted another inning or 2.
Oh, absolutely.
Because of just how much of a workhorse CC is. But yeah, I didn't really have too much of a problem, even if he hadn't had the injury, just because he was getting outs and he was looking good to most of the batters. But when he made his mistakes, like he did to Machado and Davis, they went over the wall.
Yeah, 4 innings, 4 hits, 3 runs, no walks, 3 strikeouts, 58 pitches. Yeah. So 3 of the 4 hits were left the yard.
Yeah, so it's pretty much there wasn't that much of a problem with that. It looks a lot worse because the Yankees ended up destroying their bullpen after because pretty much everyone except Adam Warren pitched. But like at the time, I was just like, oh, okay, CC's out. Didn't really have that much of a problem with it.
Yeah, I wasn't freaking out about it.
Yeah, since Kahnle came in, he pitched 2 innings, and he did perfectly fine.
48 pitches in those 2 innings by Kahnle, and I believe his career high I think he was just short of his career high. I think his career high is around like 52, and his season high last year was only 27. So, him throwing 48 pitches, man, that was a circus. He barely got out of that. He didn't give up a hit. He did walk 2 guys though, but. I mean, I think something encouraging from this weekend, really in all 3 games, was the Yankees bullpen.
Betances.
Yeah, go on.
the bullpen did blow both the games on Friday and
But I
Sunday.
mean, Jonathan Holder
But
and Adam Warren.
Yeah, it was Holder and Warren. But for the most part, the bullpen looked a lot better than they did in the Toronto series.
Mm-hmm.
Like say Friday, for example, Canely 2 scoreless innings, Betances, D-Rob, Chapman, Green, all scoreless inning. Shreve 2 scoreless innings. Chapman he struggled in that inning.
But
He walked 2 guys, but he got out of it, which is what you got to do. You're not always going to have your A+ stuff, and it's good that he got out of it. So, for the most part, the bullpen it's looked a lot better.
Yeah, and that's like obviously the bullpen ERA is still going to be affected, but the fact that I know Adam Warren is like I was live tweeting the game yesterday, and I tweeted out Adam Warren just has been dreadful this year, and I maybe been overreacting a little bit, but he's been very bad, and he's a guy that like a lot of people don't think highly of Adam Warren, but I've always thought highly of Adam Warren. I think he's been.
I think Adam Warren is, to me, he's been such an underrated pitcher.
He has been how many years has he been with the Yankees? 6 years, 7 years? I mean, he's been
with a while. Like he was really good.
He's one of those guys that you almost forgets there. You almost think he's been there for only like a couple years, but then you remember, like, he was, he's on that Cubs for like that 1 year, and his other
on the Cubs for half a year. He was terrible. He gets traded back in the Chapman trade, and then.
Always had like an ERA in the 2s, the kind of
2s or
high
3s.
2s. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, he's just been very solid. He's not going to blow anyone away. He's not a star reliever, but he's just a very solid pitcher.
Yeah, so that's why I've been kind of disappointed with Warren, because I do think highly of him early on. So him and Holder blowing the 2 games. I just like that game Friday night. Like that was a situation where like Holder, that was his spot. Like you're in the 13th inning, you literally used Canely, Betances, D-Rob, Chapman, Green, and Shreve. Like, Holder's in that game until his arm fell off. Like, it's as simple as that. He would have thrown 6 innings if he could have.
Exactly.
But he couldn't, because he gave up a grand slam. And I think, Alex, you tweeted out that when he gave up that grand slam, his ERA went down.
Yeah, no, that was my favorite part. The one part of that game, or not the one part, but just pretty much my favorite part of that game was how Holder came in with I think it was a 40.50 ERA. Because he had given up 3 runs in a third of an inning, I think it was. And then he throws 2 innings, gives up 3 earned runs. His ERA goes down to 20.25, even though he literally gave up a grand slam in the game.
He had the 1 good inning, but remember, in that inning, he ended the inning with Judge robbing a home run. So he's like, oh man, he is just so like. When he was announced as like that final, the 13th pitcher, we all kind of just shook our heads.
I don't think anyone was happy when they found out that Jonathan Holder was going to be.
I didn't think he was going to be this bad in the first 10 games, but I mean, it doesn't really like surprise you, because I mean, he's not that great of a pitcher at this moment. He
doesn't have anything good.
Mm-hmm.
His fastball is like 92, 93, and it's okay if he can elevate it. And his curveball is okay if he can locate it. But for the most part, I don't think he has that good command of either of those pitches. So he really, unless he's locked in, he's not going to be that good.
Mm-hmm. I agree. Yeah, wrapping up Friday's game real quick, because, that was an ugly one. That was the game. That was Gary's, the last game he played, obviously. This was a game that everyone left early.
Yeah.
Drury, CC, Gary, Tyler Wade, all left the game. It was a bloodbath, and we still haven't seen any of those guys since. I think Wade should be fine. I think Gary's fine.
Wade, I remember Michael K said in the game yesterday that Wade could have played.
He was available.
So I'm thinking he should be fine.
Mm-hmm. But.
Hopefully Gary will be back soon.
I mean, that was the game. Like, I mean, Gary's now, I believe, 2 for 32. Like him and Stanton just.
It's been brutal. The thing with Gary, I'm not worried. Like personally, I'm not worried about either him or Stanton. I'm more about Stanton. Gary, I think he only has like 5 or 6 strikeouts.
Yeah, he didn't strike out.
He doesn't strike out. He's making contact. He's just not squaring anything up. So once he gets a feel for everything and starts squaring everything up, then he'll be perfectly fine.
Yeah, I agree. But yeah, so that was the game Friday. Let's move on to the one win the Yankees had this
One
series.
win.
Hey, how about it? It was Saturday. They won 8-3. Sonny Gray got the win. Chris Tillman got the L. Yeah, this win was just like an ugly win. I'm glad they did what they were supposed to do off Tillman, who is picking right up where he left off last year. As one of the worst start. I mean, I think he had like statistically like the third worst season in starting pitching history or whatever.
Yeah, his ERA was in like the high sevens. So
Yeah,
that's all you need to know.
Not something you want to have in your resume. But yeah, this was a game that Sonny Gray got the win through 6 innings, 3 runs. Another start for Gray that he definitely, you can't call him great. He had an incredibly low pitch count through the first.
I think that was the biggest part. He went through, I think, the first 2 innings and threw like 10 pitches,
I believe. Yeah,
10 or 11 pitches, which for the Yankees bullpen, who had all but 1 pitcher go the night before, that was huge.
Yeah, it was.
The fact that he managed to go 6 innings, it was good. It would have been nice to see him go 7 or 8, but he managed to grind out 6 innings when he didn't have his best stuff, and he still managed to grind it out and get the Yankees a win.
Well, I don't think you could really blame him necessarily for not going 7, because I think he had 85 pitches after 6, so he could have gone back out there for the 7th inning. What was the score at that point? I believe, because the Yankees scored 2 runs in the bottom of the 6th inning, so it was a 5-3 game. So he could have went back out there for that 7th inning, but it's Boone's choice to take him out. He definitely. I mean, he had back-to-back scoreless innings in the 5th and 6th, but he definitely wasn't sharp. So no. You can't blame him for taking him out. And it ended up being the right move. The bullpen threw 3 scoreless innings between Warren, D-Rob, and Sessa, who actually looked pretty good. But I mean, I really like, you can't hold that against Gray that he went 6. It was like it was a good start by Gray. It was he rounded through it, but like,
it wasn't his best start, but he did a really good job.
Like somebody said, he goes, well, if Gray does this like every game, game in, game out, then that's fine. And I said, that's not really fine, because 6 innings, 3 runs is a 4.5 ERA.
Yeah.
So like, he can't just keep having these starts. Like, even like, I know, like I keep saying, you have to grade the opening day start in a curve, because everyone gets taken out early. Like 4 innings, 1 run. Like in 6 innings, 3 runs. Like 2 like choppy starts. I'm gonna need to see more like marquee starts from Gray. And I know it's almost casual to say, well, hey, I'm gonna need to see some 8-inning shutout performances from Sonny Gray. But when you see Sevy going out there and Tanaka going out there in their first 2 starts and looking very good, it's like, hey, Sonny Gray, it's your time to shine. He's probably going to get the start Thursday. I mean, we'll talk about the Red Sox series at the end of the show, but I still don't think the Yankees have announced who is going to.
No, they haven't yet. I'm hoping it's Gray.
I thought it was going to be. There was a chance it was going to be Herman or Sessa, but they both threw.
I really hope it's not.
Yeah, I don't either. I hope it's not either, because the Red Sox have their big 3 going in Sale, Price, and Porcello. So the Yankees should have their big 3 going. But yeah, the game Saturday. Another note about that game: 4 base running outs, 4 outs on the bases for the Yankees. It was pretty ugly.
Yeah, no, that's one thing that they really. I remember Michael Kay was saying yesterday, they have looked terrible running the bases this year, and I don't understand why. They just run into some really dumb outs. Like, there was, I think Gardner's 2-run single in the 2nd inning.
Yeah, and he just tried to go to second.
He tried to go to second, and I don't even. Where was he even going? Like, the play was right in
a throw home, but yeah, the right field.
The play was right in front of him.
Yeah,
he hit it to right field. It's not like he hit it to left, and he was just trying to stretch it into a double. It was right in front of him, and he still got thrown.
Even center, because a lot of times center, it's tough to tell. Like, that throw will be coming in. First baseman comes out of nowhere and cuts that off. Like that, you could almost. But yeah, when it's in right field and you're like 80 feet away from the ball, there's really no excuse for a guy like Gardner to be getting thrown out there.
Exactly.
But yeah, he had a pretty good game that day too. But yeah, let's get into the game that was yesterday.
Do we have to?
Yes, we do. The game Friday was 14 innings. The game yesterday was 12 innings. the way it ended was probably top 3 worst ways like I've ever seen a Yankee game end. Like, to be honest, like I can't remember.
It was one of the
It was
more
one of
painful
it
endings that I can remember.
Like thinking like bases loaded, nobody out, everyone's safe on that Gardner bunt.
They had
attempt,
all
here
this
we
momentum
go.
by starting off the
Overdose.
inning with back-to-back walks. Gardner tries to bunt
Back-to-back
everyone
walks.
over.
No hits,
Rock
bases loaded, no outs. We're good. And yeah, so before we get into that, yeah, the Yankees, they jumped out to a 5-0 lead. They're up 5-0. They batted around. Gardy, Judge, Torres, Andujar, all getting big hits, all driving in runs. Everything's looking good. It's looking like it's going to be a pain-free Yankee game. But Jordan Montgomery had other plans. And look, like I hate to like be so hard on Gumby, but like I'm not a Gumby guy. Like I've said that before on this podcast. Like I don't think he's that all that great. I don't think he's that all that. I hate to say he's not all that talented, but in terms of just being like a starting pitcher, being a guy in this Yankees rotation, like I just don't think he's all that great. And in his first start of the year, he battled through 5 innings, I believe 2 runs, and he was pretty fortunate to have that. And you know what? This start, he was fortunate to only give up 4 runs.
Yeah, he really was.
I mean,
he gave up 10 hits and 4 in the third inning.
10 hits. And I believe the first, I mean, it could have been all, I think it was all 4 innings he pitched up.
Mm-hmm.
He gave up a leadoff hit every inning. It was first inning leadoff hit, second inning leadoff hit.
Yeah.
I was saying, Jesus Christ, you can't keep giving up these leadoff hits.
Exactly.
Like those kill you. And the 2-run homer was his last pitch.
The last straw. He got so lucky
he was lucky. It was almost like Gray's open. It was almost like Gray's first start where he went 4 innings, 1 run. But you look at it and say, man, he was lucky to only give up 1 run because you had to play at the plate. You had like a few things go. You had like even Montgomery. He had those 2 double plays, which I'm not going to say, oh, that was lucky, because he induced those double plays. Like That's good on him. But hey, you're not going to have that happen to you every time. Like
no.
All I'm saying is the next 3 times after today, you go out and give up 10 hits. You're probably not going to give up 4 runs. You're probably going to give up 6, 7.
You give up 10 hits and 4 1/3 innings, you're going to give up 6, 7, 8 runs
on average. That's okay. So Montgomery just had a terrible start. He had no command. He was leaving everything up. But he still left the game with the lead, with the Yankees up 5-4. And here's where the big problem comes in. We're gonna need a segment of me just like called like the Aaron Boone segment, because it was another wacky Aaron Boone bullpen decision. So in a 5-4 game, in the 5th inning, after
with 1 out in the 5th inning,
he puts in Germán. Okay, I agree with that.
I don't have a problem with that.
It's still early. Your bullpen has been through hell and back all weekend. Okay, yeah, you put Germán in, who just got called up. I agree with that. Okay, he pitches the 5th, does a good job. Pitches the 6th.
Pitched the 6th. He was good. He looked really good.
He looked really good. Okay, he gives you an inning and 2/3 right there.
Yeah, you're going into the 7th inning. You're like, okay, now we start bringing in the big guns.
Yeah, now it's the 7th inning. Now it's still a 5-4 game in the 7th inning. Now I'm looking around saying, wait a minute. Why is Germán back out there?
Yeah.
In the 7th inning when am I mistaken when I say that, wait a minute, the only guys that pitched yesterday out of the bullpen were Adam Warren, D-Rob, and Cessa.
And Cessa was not going to pitch today.
If my math is right, that means that Chad Green, Dellin Betances were both on a full day's rest. No, and that I'm not like I was going to say Canely, but I understand like after Canely throwing nearly 50 pitches, you wanted him to. I get that. He
could use 2 days off.
Yeah. Okay. So I get Canely probably was unavailable, so I'll give Boone the benefit out there. But nevertheless, you still had D-Rob and Betances and Green Betances and Green just ready to go, and you stuck with Germán, and he gives up the lead, and you
Anthony Santander hitting a home run.
You tied the game back up, but the point remains. Like, look, I know it's easy to say, well, if you based how Betances and how Chapman and how Shreve, and even the fact that D-Rob came into pitching, and I know it was deep in the game, it was when you kind of needed to, but that just showed that D-Rob was available. So why aren't you going with one of your big arms in the 7th inning of a 1-run game? it was another move by Boone that just didn't make sense.
Another thing,
Like I said with Holder, putting Holder in the sixth inning and like that one game against Tampa, it's almost the same thing where it's tough to blame Holder. It's tough to get too mad at Herman because you shouldn't be putting these guys in these situations. Exactly. It's not fair to them. They're not ready for this yet. We all know that.
Another thing that really just confused me was that, okay, yeah, he left Holder in too long. Game's tied at 7. He brings in Betances for the 8th inning, who he looked good. He looked really good in the 8th inning. Struck out 2 guys. He gave up a hit, but it doesn't matter.
Machado.
And he threw 19 pitches. Okay, I can see not bringing him back out. Yeah. Chapman pitches the 9th inning. Only threw 14 pitches. He also looked really good. And then for the 10th inning, takes Chapman out, brings in Chasen Shreve, who threw 6 pitches.
Yeah, and you just don't bring him back.
And then he took him out. He brought in D-Rob. Yeah. I don't understand that. When Shreve can go multiple innings, he did that on Friday. Why would you take him out when he obviously looked really good? He threw 6 pitches. He could go another inning or 2. Why would you continue to take guys out of your bullpen and use more and more people when Shreve only threw 6 pitches?
Yeah, that didn't make sense. And then D-Rob, I get why he only went an inning because he pitched.
Yeah, no, he pitched. Yeah,
at that point you just went Betances, Chapman, Shreve, and D-Rob all threw an inning, and we bring in Warren, who just ultimately loses the game. 2 hits and a walk that inning through 37 pitches.
He really was struggling that inning.
Yeah, he was. He was lucky to even get out of that inning with 1 run. It was very close to being like a 2-3 run inning.
The thing with Warren that inning too, it's like they weren't exactly hitting him hard. Like even Gentry's hit that gave the Orioles the lead. It was just a ground ball that got lucky and went through the left side of the infield. His problem was that he had no out pitch. Gentry's at bat went like 12 pitches because he was just fouling everything off because Warren could not locate any pitch that could get anyone out.
Nope. He
struck out the side in that inning. But that's because he really did not have control of anything.
Yeah, and then, even after the Yankees went down a run in the 12th, they had a chance after 2 walks and after Brett Gardner reached on an error after bunting. You have your 2 big sluggers up, everything's set, and a double play and a strikeout, and the game's over. I'm still just I'm just amazed by that. That was just incredible.
I'm more like in shock by it because I think Judge and Stanton's at bats combined lasted like 6 or 7 pitches. Right. Judge's was like 2. Stanton's
I thought you were gonna say 6 or 7 seconds, and that also would have been appropriate.
That would have worked too. It's like they had all this momentum. They had all this momentum. Bases loaded, nobody out. Judge is at the plate, and then a minute later, bam, game's over.
Oh my! I really I don't even want to go that much into that. I think we're just gonna hop right into what the hell is going on with Giancarlo Stanton. And look, I'll say it right now. I played baseball in South Florida. I played travel baseball. I played a lot. I played a lot of damn baseball in Florida. And playing baseball in Florida, it's nice. It's always in the 70s and the 80s. Sometimes it gets really hot. But
so what you're saying is that it's a little different playing in New York in April?
I really do, because a lot of people don't buy into the whole he played on the road. He's not like he always played in the heat. Yeah, but when you play in a climate like South Florida, like Miami, and even Giancarlo's from Cali, it's tough to just go to New York, and especially now. It's been in the 40s. All these cold games, all these home games. It's miserable there right now.
Well, and one thing that stood out to me was that in the Toronto series, they were playing in a dome, and Stanton, he did not look that bad.
Yeah, he had the 2 homers.
He had 2 homers on opening day. He didn't get that many other hits, but he had his walks and stuff. He didn't look terrible. And then they come to Yankee Stadium and play 6 games there, where it was pretty cold all 6 games.
And his stats in those games: 28 at bats, 3 hits, 1 homer, 3 RBI, 16 strikeouts, 107 average, and 3 runs. Now, to compare, Jason Giambi's first 34 at bats at Yankee Stadium, he was 7 to 34. A-Rod's first 20 at bats, he was 4 for 20. So playing in Yankee Stadium in April for hitters, it sucks. It
Yeah,
really does. And I'm not saying like, oh, that, problem solved. It's because of the weather. Like, no, Giancarlo is definitely feeling the New York nerves. Like, there's
yeah.
no doubt about my mind. Like, he's in a new place. He's facing new pitchers. It's a whole transition for him. He's expected to be, he's coming off a 59 home run year. He's feeling the pressure. There's no doubt
Exactly.
about it. And I think he's going to snap out. I know he's going to snap out.
Oh, he's gonna snap out of it.
Well, like,
There's a tweet by Michael Salfino that says
yeah.
Stanton has 19 strikeouts in his last 10 games. He matched that in a 10-game stretch in 2015 and had 21 in 10 games in 2014 in 2016. So it's not like this is just out of the ordinary.
I know you didn't read the last part of that tweet. It just says this shit happened.
No, but like it's not out of the ordinary. It's not something that's going to happen, 5 times a year. But Stanton will go through stretches where he really struggles like this, and he ends up snapping out of it. Last year he didn't have. I saw a thing on ESPN. He didn't have a 4 strikeout game last year, but that's because last year was a career year for him.
Yeah,
and this year he's having another one of these really bad slumps that he has where he just doesn't see the ball well and he's striking out a lot. And it just looks a lot worse because this is how he's starting his career with an entirely new team, which is not helping the slump because going from Miami, who has probably one of the calmer fan bases, to the Yankees, who has one of the most intense fan bases in baseball, that cannot be easy. And his first game at Yankee Stadium, he gets booed. Yep. So it's just he really just has to adapt to playing at Yankee Stadium, and he has to deal with everything. So, like, overall, I'm not overly worried about him. I'm not going to overreact and say this is who he is now. The entire trade's a bust. But it's not – I'm not entirely convinced that he's going to completely snap out of this anytime soon because he has to physically and mentally adapt to playing for the Yankees at Yankee Stadium.
Yeah, so I put out a couple of polls on the BBB Twitter in the last 24 hours. One of them was, do you have a problem with the Yankee fans booing Giancarlo? And there's been 1,500 votes as of right now, and 53% said yes, 47% said no. So it's pretty split, dead even, of like how people feel about this, And I think I have a problem with maybe people booing him that first game. Like, yeah, that was a 5-strike game.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, like if you have a problem with people booing him yesterday, come on. Like, come on. Like, and I'm someone that's defended Giancarlo, and like, there's a lot of people out there tweeting like, oh, this guy's trash, this guy's awful, like F him. And those people just aren't intelligent because if you've looked at this guy's career and this guy's, he's a guy that's there's a possibility. Like, it's not like Giancarlo's a hitter that, oh, he's guaranteed to hit 260 plus. Like, he could hit 230, 240. Like, he's that type of hitter. Like, power hitters are streaky, man. Like, at times they look like, juggernauts, and then at times they look like they belong in Double-A. That's just how power hitters work in baseball. It's kind of crazy.
The thing with Stanton is, like, he's not a 5-tool player like Mike Trout. He had a career year last year. He hit 280 last year and won MVP. But he's not going to hit 280, 290 every single year of his career. He's going to hit 250, 260, and, 30, 40, maybe 50 home runs. And that is the player that he is. Last year, he just went off. And he has the potential to do that, but he's not going to hit 60 home runs every single year.
I also put out a poll, I think, asked if Yankee fans are if you're worried about the Yankees, and I think 70% said no. But the fact that 30% are worried, like are legitimately worried, it just speaks to the sky is falling narrative that you really see a lot on Yankees Twitter, especially yesterday. And I know those losses were brutal. Like, trust me, I had a freaking live tweet. I had a live tweet that 5-hour game from hell. Like, by the time it was the 10th inning, all I wanted to do was watch the Masters. Like, that's all. I was just like, please, like, let this game. This is like so awful to watch. Like, the Yankees have a chance to end it. Nope. It was just so bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, some more fun facts about Giancarlo. First player in the live ball era to have 2 games with 0 hits and 5 strikeouts in the same season.
I'm questioning your fandom by you saying these are fun facts.
Yeah, Yankees 8-20 in extra inning games at home since start of 2013. What's the point of even watching them? It was a rough weekend. And with all that being said, with all that negativity, they're 5-5.
Yeah,
they're 5-5. Look, a team like the Dodgers right now, 3-6. A team like the Nationals, I believe, they're below 500.
we're 10 games into the
season. Yeah. It could be a lot worse with all that's happened, with all the injuries, with all the skies falling, with all the Giancarlo and Gary literally looking like Beavis and Butthead out there. We're freaking 5-5, and I'm not gonna say there's nothing to be worried about, but the reason I feel so confident is because of the pitching. I know the bullpen had that terrible patch, but I feel with the way Sevy's looked, with the way Tanaka's looked, and how the bullpen's coming back, I feel confident with the team heading into Boston.
No, the pitching is it looks like a big strength for the Yankees this year. And the rotation was the one thing that a lot of people would point out as saying this might be the Yankees' one weakness. But outside of Montgomery, the Yankees' rotation has been really solid so far. Gray has had, his 2 starts have been just okay. CC's first start against the Jays was good. His other one was okay. Sevy and Tanaka have been fantastic. And they've been pitching good enough for the Yankees to win the games. They haven't for a few of them, but it's not something there where you just think the team is doomed, because they have the potential to win those games that they lost. So in the future, they're going to win games like that. But, it's early on in the season. No one's going to be playing perfectly. It's 40 degrees. It's not ideal baseball conditions right now. So anything that happens right now, it's not going to dictate how the rest of the season is going to go.
Right. So that was, I'm done talking about that weekend forever. I might even just delete this episode after I record it, because that was just a weekend from hell. I think that at least they got one win out of it. But let's answer some of these Twitter questions. We only had a few. We have a few, but pretty broad. But I'm gonna start with this one from. Check out this Twitter name from the Great Boone Bino, and yes, his profile.
That's pretty great.
It's just like a picture of the babe with like 2 or 3 bats and then Boone's face.
That's pretty great.
I can't even say this question now. Who is the Yankees? He said, who's the Yankees' most clutch player besides Didi? Because obviously Didi's the answer. I would say Gardy. Gardy, I believe. They always pull up that stat about the most Yankee walk-offs since 2000, and it's it's Gardy and Melky and A-Rod, and so Gardy. Last year he had a really clutch year. That home run against the Cubs was that was awesome.
Fantastic.
Down your last pitch, 2-0 to hit that 3-run shot. That was an awesome game. That weekend he had where he had the tying run and then the walk-off back-to-back games.
Yeah.
So I would say Gardy is probably the most clutch player in the Yankees. This one,
a
lot of these are just jokes. A lot of these are just jokes. Some of that you think Jeter will trade Starlin back for Stanton.
I feel so bad for Starlin Castro.
He's still every time I was watching the Marlins Red Sox game. I think last week, the game that went into extras that the Marlins lost. And just Starlin got up to the plate, and I just said, oh my God,
This poor guy.
I'll get you out of there. And our own Jason Hurst 99 asks, can you remember a more brutal day of baseball than today? And I kind of got mad at this question because I don't know if you're old enough to remember the 04 ALCS, but come on, man, a brutal day of baseball. It's it's the 10th game of the regular season.
Yeah. The game sucks.
That doesn't compare. That doesn't compare for me until the 2004 ALCS. The 2012 ALCS where the Tigers
that was awful.
Shat on us. That was awful. And the friggin' Jabba bug game. Those for me are the top 3 all time.
Even game 2 of that ALDS this past year.
Game 7. I literally that was like the worst moment of my baseball being my. So when I hear people say like, oh, and can you remember anything worse than this? Like, yeah, I actually can.
Yeah,
It's
there's
the
a
regular
lot worse
season.
than this.
I probably won't even think about this game in like 2 months.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Or we'll look back on it and be like, wow, that game sucked, but look where they are now. You know?
Yeah, this question's from Ryan Gold. How do we get the message to Stanton to stop trying to hit a home run every time he's at the plate? I don't have Giancarlo's number or his email, or, his ear, but
I'll DM him on Twitter.
Yeah, but like I don't know. It's really like I said. I think it's just nerves. I think he's just really.
I also think that's just kind of how his swing is.
Yeah, he's also a home run hitter, so it's kind of hard to stop asking him to hit home runs. And then another question about Stanton. What are your thoughts about Giancarlo in his Charlotte season? Do you think he will improve, or should we be expecting this for the rest of the season? I don't think we should be expecting Giancarlo to hit 170 with, I think, what was he on to? Going to try to do the math here real quick. He's probably on, if he plays like 140, 50 games, he's probably on pace for like 170 with like 28 homers. So I wouldn't say that he's, on pace to do that, or we should expect him to do that. I think he's going to improve. Hot take.
Giancarlo Stanton is not going to be.
Yeah, Giancarlo Stanton will not hit under 200. And then, this one, kind of last one, not a question, but the Red Sox have a shot to bury the Yankees this coming series. And Alex, this one kind of set you off a little bit.
See, to me, it's so early on.
Yeah.
Even after this series, the Red Sox series is over, it's going to be 13 games into the season. And even if the Red Sox sweep, they'll be, 12-1 on the season? They're 9-1, right? Or 8-1 right now? I think they're, hang on, let me check. I think they're 8-1.
Yeah, I think they're 8-1. I think they're 8-1 because they
I
don't think they played the Rays in 2 4-game sets because I know they played the Marlins in a 2-game set, and I think it was 4 and 3.
Yeah, so they're just they're 8-1. Mm-hmm. So they'll be 11-1 if they sweep the Yankees, and the Yankees will be 6.5 out of first place. And to me, 6.5 games out, 13 games into the season. Yeah, that sucks. It sucks the Yankees would be 5-8 to start this season that they're supposed to, win the World Series. But it's not going to completely bury them. The Yankees still have 150 games left of the season to play. They could easily pull off, winning 15 of 20 and 22 of 30, something like that. They have the potential to do that. And the Red Sox have started off their season by playing 9 games against the Rays and the Marlins, who quite possibly could be the 2 worst teams in baseball.
And they've gotten the job done against those teams, credit to them. But I don't honestly think it's going to almost not bite them in the back. But when you think about it, I mean, how many times do the Yankees, 18 times the Yankees play the Rays?
19
times. So you get 7 of those 19 games against the Rays out of the way. You kind of want those spread out throughout the season. You kind of want a lot of those games. You'd almost want it you always play like that. There's that one AL East team, it seems like every year that you play in September 8 times, right? And hey, you'd rather play the Rays 7 times in, let's say, September than maybe in April or May. So
see, now I remember, I think I saw a thing saying the Red Sox play the Rays 10 times in April as a whole, which means in May, June, July, August, and September, they play them 9 times.
Yeah.
So that's only going to be a disadvantage to them because that just makes their schedule in the last 5 months of the season even harder. And sure, they might be, 15, 20 games over 500 at the end of April.
And to put this into perspective, the Yankees don't play the Rays again till June 14th.
Wow.
Yeah, like that. They don't play the Rays all of May. I'm looking at the schedule now. The Yankees, I just wanted to say this because I'm going through the schedule real quick. The Yankees, I don't like to get caught up too much in record early on the year, but they have a really tough stretch of games coming up. Look, they play the Red Sox 3 times in the road. Okay. Then you play the Tigers 3 times in the road. That shouldn't be too tough, even though I think the Tigers are 4-4 right now. Then you play the Marlins twice at home. Okay, those are 2 games you have to get. You play the Blue Jays in a 4-game set at home. we usually do pretty well against the Blue Jays at the stadium.
Yeah.
Toronto, it's another story. But then you play the Twins a 4-game set.
4 games against the Twins at home.
Then you play the Angels in a 3-game set on the road. Then you play the Astros in a 4-game set on the road. Then you play the Indians in a 3-game set on the road. Oh, and then you play the Red Sox in a 3-game set at home. That's a brutal stretch of the Angels, the Astros, the Indians, and the Red Sox. Those could be the 4 best teams in the American League. And you have to play them all in a row.
And honestly, if they can, let's see, that's what?
That's a brutal stretch right there.
That's it. That is really, really tough. And if the Yankees can come out of that, they have the series against the Angels and the Astros is on the road, the Indians and the Red Sox is at home. If they can come out of that with a 500 record, I'd be perfectly happy with that.
I was about to say, like, as long as they're like at 500 or like above 500, even if they're like, I'm not sure how many games are at that point, but even if they're like 18-17 or something, I would be perfectly fine because that's a tough stretch, man.
That is it's not easy.
I like the first thing I saw when I opened the schedule because I was just seeing if they updated the pitching matchups for the show, and the first thing I saw, like I just scrolled down a little bit, was like, oh wow, that's Houston and Cleveland together, and then I looked up and just see the Angels and the Twins, who I'm like, well, the Angels at this point, if Ohtani keeps doing what he's doing, like, holy, it really hurts to see Ohtani. Like, he was literally like, when the Yankees lost that game yesterday, like the moment they lost, like Ohtani still had like his perfect game. He was through like 6 innings. Yeah. I was just like, oh my God, that would be the biggest pouring salt in the wound moment of all time if Ohtani threw a perfect game here. But he didn't. So yeah, the Yankees, really tough schedule coming up. But let's preview these 3 games that they have coming up Tuesday through Thursday against the Red Sox. The Yankees-Red Sox rivalry, it feels like Yankees and Red Sox fans kind of are starting to hate each other again. There's a lot of talk, a lot of hatred on Twitter, a lot of back and forth, a lot of Red Sox fans enjoying these Yankee struggles early on. But the Red Sox, like you guys say, you have to give credit where credit's due. Like, because look, if they're playing the Rays, they're playing the Marlins. I get it, but like that's what they're supposed to do. They've done what they're supposed to do.
Exactly. They played well against the teams they need to beat.
I'm not sure the status of Xander Bogaerts because I know he went down, but he's been just. I saw a stat, and I know, like, I'm not like a big like inside like these new age baseball stats, but I think Xander Bogaerts. They said he barreled 6 balls all of last year, and this year he's already barreled 6 balls.
Wow.
Yeah, and I just said, I was like, wow, that's something where it's people every time someone improves in hitting, they just scream steroids. Like that's something that you could actually like statistically. Like calculate is like, no, he's actually just barreling the ball up. Like he's
just seeing the ball a lot better than he was all last year.
Some more stats. Mookie Betts has had a really good start to the year. So is Hanley. So is Rafi Devers. The Red Sox, they're still not. Remember how last year the Red Sox just didn't hit any home runs. They're still not hitting a lot of home runs. They've only hit 7 home runs in the first 9 games. And I think they don't have anybody with more than 2 home runs. Bogaerts has 2 home runs, and they don't have anyone else with more than 1. So it looks like it's going to be another team for the Red Sox that just doesn't hit a lot of long balls, which still is weird. But yeah, they've just been hitting really well as a team. JD Martinez so far through 31 at bats, hitting .226 with only 1 homer, 4 RBIs. So I mean, he really hasn't been all that good, but then again, still early on. As we've seen with some of our big sluggers. But yeah, so the Tuesday night matchup is the big one. ESPN, Sevy versus Sale. Sevy versus Sale really feels like it's going to be like one of those rivalries, one of those like ace versus ace matchups that we see for the next few years. We've already had a couple of really good matchups between them, and here's hopefully the first of many this year. Sales looked great through his first 2 starts. Sevy's looked great.
Sevy's looked fantastic. Yeah.
It's one of those things where, like, hey, something's got to give. Through 2 starts, Sales during 11 innings, 6 hits, only 1 earned run, 3 walks, 15 strikeouts. That equates to a .82 ERA and a .82 WHIP because he has not walked anybody yet. He's walked 3 people. But same WHIP as the ERA. He's averaged 92 pitches per game through his first 2 games, so they really haven't stretched him too much. And I've always said, like, that's a big thing with Sale. Like, if one of these teams could just realize, like, wait a minute, if we just cut off, like, an inning from each one of his 30, 35 starts, then maybe he doesn't break down towards the end of the year because he's just – the guy's a horse. And you look at him, and he doesn't equate. You wouldn't think he was a horse. You would think he was one of those guys that just went out and threw 6 innings every time. But no, he's got it. Likes to go deep into games. So that's going to be a really good matchup on Tuesday. Probably going to be a low scoring game. Going to need Sevy to bring his A stuff because that's a game where you don't want to drop 4 or 5 this early in the season.
Exactly.
So that's going to be an important game. Then on Wednesday night, it's Masahiro Tanaka versus the money man himself, David Price.
The $30 million reliever.
Who is shutting up all the doubters like myself so far because he has not given up a run in his 2 starts. 14 innings pitched, 7 hits, no runs, 3 walks, and 10 strikeouts. And he hasn't been throwing a lot of pitches either. I think he's only thrown around 80, 85 pitches in each of his 2 starts. So he's looked really good. And then Thursday, it's not announced who the Yankees are going to pitch on Thursday, but it should be Sonny Gray.
I'm going to say it's either going to be Gray or Sessa.
Yeah, I wouldn't.
I hope it's Gray.
Yeah, I wouldn't expect to see Sessa in a game at Fenway. Who is the pitcher for the Yankees? I always forget his name, but I'll never forget this game. Who let up 5 home runs in a row at Fenway? It was his first start. What was his name? I can't remember. It's do you remember that though?
No,
He was back to back to back. I feel like that could happen if Luis Sessa started a game.
Well, I remember. I think it was in 2015 or it was 2016. Sessa started a game at Fenway, and literally the first inning.
Started at Fenway. He started at Fenway before, but I'm just saying, at this point, even though he looked good in that 1 inning,
that 1 inning is not something to judge.
I don't trust Sessa starting at Fenway.
No.
So you probably see Porcello versus Sonny Gray on Thursday. So what it looks like now, unless things change, you're going to have the 3 best Yankee pitchers versus the 3 best Red Sox pitchers. It's going to be a really good test early on. And like we keep mentioning, they've only played the Rays and the Marlins, but when you're hot, you're hot. When you've won 8 out of 9, you've won 8 out of 9. People don't equate the mentality and the mental aspect of baseball enough. Where it's look, when you're coming off a devastating loss like that, it wears on you. You're people, you're a person. It's going to affect you. And when you've won 8 out of 9 games, and especially the way the Red Sox have been winning, they've been coming back. They were down 7-2 yesterday, and the damn Rays can't even get out of the 8th inning with the lead. Not even they lost that game. The fact that they blew the lead in the 8th, it was it's now they're down 1 going into the 9th. I was are you kidding me?
And I just remember watching the Yankees game. Michael Kay is just Rays lead the Red Sox 7-2 in the 8th inning. Then 10 minutes later, he goes, and the Red Sox now have an 8-7 lead over the Rays.
No, the worst part about that whole rally, because I was actually watching some of the highlights. MLB posted the highlight of that 8th inning round. I'm let me just watch this and see how that. The last hit Benintendi had was literally a fly ball to left center, and the Rays just didn't get to. It was just the way they the center fielder got to the ball and almost just threw it in on the run. I said this shit this is a joke. This team is an absolute joke that they're even they're 1-8 now. They I literally don't see them winning 40 games before the All-Star break. Just terrible, man. Just absolutely awful.
Oh God. It sucks that the Rays are this bad just because in the past they've actually been, they haven't been great the past few years, but they've been
at least
decent enough
opponent. At least they could usually hit.
Last year they could hit years before they could pitch.
But, guys like Logan Morrison and Longoria and Steven Souza Jr. and I know I'm forgetting someone, but those guys could actually Dickerson. Those guys could actually, there were threats to put up 30, 35 home runs a year. They're actually guys that could make this, even if they were only winning 76 games, the Rays were still somewhat of an exciting team to watch because, they had a lot of good hitters. But now they are just a farm team. They're just awful. Oh, but
their number 3 hitter is Carlos Gomez.
I know, who they literally just signed 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
So, more notes on the Red Sox. Kimbrel has looked good to start the year. He's thrown 5 innings. As expected, Kimbrel's just dynamite. But other than Kimbrel in that bullpen, it's...
I'm not scared of anyone
Matt Barnes, Bobby Pointer, Heath Hembry. Those are their guys. Those are their main guys. Marcus Walden, Carson Smith, Carson Smith and Joe Kelly have been awful. They have just been very bad for
Carson Smith and Joe Kelly have both given up 4 runs in 3 2/3 and 3 1/3.
They've walked the two of them. Yeah, in those innings combined, they've walked 8 guys. So yeah, they've been pretty bad. But how are you feeling going into this Red Sox series? Though, you think the Yankees are going to rebound, or you think that what do you think's more likely, the Yankees winning the series, the Red Sox winning the series?
I think the Red Sox winning the series is
Yeah,
probably more likely, but I don't.
I agree.
I think it'll just be 2 out of 3.
Mhm.
I think the Yankees easily should be. They should be able to win the game with Price pitching because they've always been able to hit Price really, really well.
Tanaka usually pitches pretty well against the Red Sox.
Yeah, exactly. Tanaka had that one game last year
that
where
was
he
one
just
I
threw
was
the
gonna say, I
gem.
believe that was last April, wasn't it, in Fenway?
Yeah, that was Tanaka versus Sale.
Yeah.
And Sale pitched 4 times against the Yankees last year, and they were 4-0 in
Tyler
those
Austin
games.
needs to start on Tuesday. That's all.
Yes, he does. No, I think Sale. I don't expect the Yankees to score 7 runs off of Sale.
Oh no!
But if they do,
Sale in April, April through July, you can never expect to get more than 2 runs off.
No. If they just have good at bats against Sale and they drive his pitch count up and they get to the Red Sox bullpen in the 6th or 7th inning, then they set themselves up to really win the game because the Yankees bullpen is miles ahead of the Red Sox bullpen.
Yeah, even after the some terrible performances by the Yankees bullpen, it doesn't
exactly
the fact that.
Well, the Red Sox have had terrible performances by their bullpen too.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah,
the Yankees bullpen just has a lot more potential and is in general just better. They just made some mistakes. The Red Sox bullpen is not good.
Yeah, I agree. Oh yeah, so it's really don't have much else other than that. Yeah, just a rough week. I'm still feeling the effects from it. Man, that really just two. You usually don't get two. Where your last 2 losses are both just brutal.
Mm-hmm.
I think there was a stretch last year, the whole Clippard stretch last year in May was also pretty bad.
That was bad.
Yeah, that was the last I really remember it being this bad. But
and the thing is, though, the Yankees have lost 5 games this year. 4 of those have been heartbreakers, so they're not going to be this bad. The bullpen's not going to blow this many games the rest of the year. You just got to get through this stretch, forget that this past weekend happened, and just wait for the team to fulfill their potential.
Yeah, absolutely. Hope we'll be updating all the injury guys who's coming back, who's rehabbing, all on Bronx Mama Ball. Check it out. I don't even know what to say anymore about this team because I'm just so I feel like I'm almost more drained from all the things I've seen on Twitter,
mm-hmm.
The whole skies falling crowd, than I am about the actual team because I know this team's gonna be fine.
Yeah,
I didn't feel good after that game yesterday, but
it was more of just how did they do that?
Yeah, I was pretty calm in terms of the outlook and the foreseeable future, but. There's 2 things that kind of changed that for me. But seeing all the how upset all these fans are, so many of these fans are, and then just looking at that schedule in late April, early May, that is just brutal. I mean, yeah. Oh my god, really, because you look at the I think I'm someone that doesn't think too highly of the Twins, but they did make the playoffs last year. They're pretty good, and then you have the Angels who. I mean, it's
the Angels could be scary.
Yeah, I'm not looking too far into it, but I mean, hey, if we play the Angel 3 games, that gives us a 60% chance that we're going to face Ohtani.
Yep.
And I don't know, he kind of looks good. I don't know if you guys, I don't know if you guys are baseball scouts, but 2 games he looks good at the plate and on the mound.
Yeah.
So
he had a home run off of Kluber.
Yeah.
So. That's all you need to know.
Yeah, obviously the Astros rematch. They're always going to be tough. I think they only have 1 loss so far. Yeah, so not the best weekend. Not the best times to be a Yankees fan, but it's a long season. It's 10 games down, 152 to go, and we're going to be here all throughout it. And yeah, that's all we got. So Alex, any closing thoughts?
Eaters.
Eaters, boys. Hopefully the Yankees pick up that series win against the Sox, and we'll talk to you guys later.